Now, one of the concerns you may have had when watching this is when traffic is sent from this host to the switch, so it does a DNS query. That DNS query is intercepted, forwarded across the network to the SDN controller. It's sent to Network Protector, which then queries the database, and then has to send a response back to the client if it's a malicious domain, or it's sent back to the switch if it's not a malicious domain, and is then sent normally to the DNS server, which then replies. So there's an additional delay for the client getting a response from the DNS server. Now, one of the things HP have done on specific switches that support what are called version 2 ASICs, so there's some specific hardware requirements in this case, is they use the ASIC on the switch for forwarding traffic to the controller via a tunnel called a service insertion tunnel. Essentially, it's a GRE tunnel, but it can use hardware forwarding of traffic from the switch to the controller via the GRE tunnel using the ASIC on the switch rather than using the central CPU of the switch. So it allows for very high throughput of traffic. We can see that by looking at one of the switches. So as an example, this is a 3800 series switch. When I look at the ports of that switch, you'll notice there's a port ID here with a long number. When I look at the flows, you'll see that DNS traffic is forwarded to this port and not to the controller port. The reason why is that on that switch, when I use the command show interfaces tunnel type intercept, we can see that a service insertion tunnel 01 has been created from the local switch to the controller, and it has this interface index. If I type the command show interface tunnel, I'll see something similar. Tunnel number, tunnel name, tunnel source, the local switch, tunnel destination, the controller. It's a service tunnel, so service insertion tunnel. We can see some routing information. We can see that the tunnel is enabled. This tunnel was created on the fly by Network Protector using SNMP. When I click on device status and look at that switch, I can see that the current inspection mode is inline service insertion. So the switch has been configured by Network Protector to use a service insertion tunnel for high throughput of DNS queries to the controller using the ASIC on the switch.